Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting today's Members Night session, which is going to be fantastic. This is something you're all going to want to update your team about when you hear today's topic. So looking forward to getting this one to you. There's a 30-second timer. That's your opportunity to check who's online in your group. If they're not here, make sure you give them a quick nudge. Alrighty, welcome online, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't speak fluent English, not a problem. You can read along with closed captions on YouTube or in the Zoom room. And here's some explanations in many languages.
Por favor, vaya a la parte inferior de la pantalla en Zoom o YouTube y haga clic en subtítulos para leer en español.
Kérlek menj a képernyő aljára, a Zoomon vagy a YouTube-on, a Closed Caption részre, és ott el tud olvasni magyarul a feliratot.
Silakan klik di layar bawah pada Zoom atau YouTube dan klik caption untuk membaca dalam bahasa Indonesia.
Pour les sous-titres en français, veuillez cliquer au bas de votre écran Zoom ou YouTube sur CC ou Closed Captions.
Zoom または YouTube の画面の下部に移動し、字幕をクリックして日本語で読んでください。
請到屏幕底部點閱隱藏字幕以閱讀中文。
Παρακαλώ πηγαίνετε στο κάτω μέρος της οθόνης, στο Zoom ή στο YouTube και κάντε κλικ στους υπότιτλους για να τα διαβάσετε στα ελληνικά.
請到屏幕底部點擊隱藏字幕以閱讀中文.
אנא עברו לתחתית המסך בזום וביוטיוב ולחצו על תרגום לכתוביות בעברית.
Proszę zejść na dół ekranu na Zoomie lub YouTubie i kliknąć napisy, żeby przeczytać po polsku.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're watching us from today. Michael Firth here, one of the founding Field Advisory Board members and Crowns with Neumi, and it's my pleasure to be your presenter today on Members Night. For those brand new people who've just joined us, you may not know the schedule, and that is that we do have events at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time right through the week for different purposes. On a Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, that is the official Members Night training where we'll bring in updates from corporate and all sorts of things. Let me just change my language to English so people can listen along. Thank you, Phoebe, for letting everyone in the room. We're live streaming right now on YouTube, Facebook, all over the place. So people are logging on from social media, from YouTube, on the Zoom room. Some people will be watching the playback. Today, we are recording this training so that it can be replaced in the app for the current Neumi 123 training, just bringing it up to date. We're also excited that if you stay on towards the end of the event, you're going to hear from Crowns and Diamonds with some of their suggestions of what they say when they actually approach somebody, okay? So I just want to share this with you so you know that we are a member-driven company and we listen to the field. We reached out to the Crowns and the Diamonds last week and said, can you tell us what you think your members need to hear? There's no use us putting out training when we don't know what you want. And of course, this is the feedback we received. We received people saying the three-step system for sorting versus selling. So the three-step system of Neumi 123 of sorting versus selling, motivation, how to stick with it, new leaders motivating their teams if they're new to network marketing, step-by-step for success, beginning with mindset and your why. That's just some of them. And of course, prospecting new people once you get past your warm list, and then the power of three-way calls and Zooms, and then the 4 quadrants of growth. Now, I can't cover all of that today, but what I can do today is target specifically around some of those topics that people have asked for. So I can see today, we've already got people logged on right now from Canada, Georgia, USA. Type it in the chat, guys, if you just joined us. We have Charleston, USA, Las Vegas, Ontario, Montreal, Oregon, US, what do we got here? Indonesia, Perth, Western Australia, Nigeria, Utah, welcome Italo. People coming in from all over the place, which is awesome. So as I said, we got feedback from all of the diamonds through the diamond chat on our app this week, asking them what topics they wanted covered. And of course, this is why we're here today, and we're going to be covering off some great information. So with that in mind, let me just get some slides ready to go of this particular topic, and then we'll get right into it. So here we go. All right. So you may or may not have seen that this is actually the training that we have presented once in the past, Neumi 123 ABC. One of the biggest reasons for success of Neumi is not just that our product is more effective and cheaper than a lot on the market. It's not just that our compensation plan pays out way more. It's not just that we have the integrity and heart of the leadership and Steve Scott. It's actually also because we started with one universal system that every single member across the globe uses universally, which is Neumi 123 and ABC. That is the core of what we're going to talk about today. So, having said that, someone asked me to cover off this first, which I think is a great idea. It's called the Neumi Duplication Quadrant. And if you've been to a one-star boot camp, you would have seen this already. But repetition is the mother of skill, as they say. So when you get into this industry brand new, if you're watching this brand new going, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. Exactly. So the quadrants go like this. The first one is you learn to do. So you plug into our system. You come to the Neumi Academy workshops, which are all in the back office. You come to these weekly calls on members night, corporate approved training, Neumi weekly presentations, upline specific training. And that's when you're probably a member, or maybe you've already shot off and got yourself to a senior member. But where the learning really kicks in is when we change the gear from learning to do and doing what you learn. So you can't learn better than putting action and implementation into place. So we encourage you to choose an active mentor. What do we say? That your sponsor could be fantastic, could be an amazing person, but if they haven't accelerated past you, they can't mentor you because theory doesn't cut it. So find an active mentor and then create a list and watch the 130-10 building philosophy that we all use, and then become a connector, contact and invite. That's all you need to focus on. And of course, you can go from 1-star to 2-star to 3-star doing that. But then there is another gear change. Now, today, for the brand new people, this is all you need to know. But just so you know, if you are in the business and you're wondering why you may have plateaued, maybe you didn't change the gear from doing what you learn to learning to teach, which is the next one. So again, follow an active mentor who has a bigger business than you, because if your sponsor is a smaller business, they can't teach you again. So always have an active mentor. And this is where it's about continuous ongoing education, the can-I principle, constant and never-ending improvement. That's how you go from a rookie to a pro to an expert to an influencer. Constantly counseling with your upline. I talk to Alex Monterosa daily. And of course, that's where the duplication zone kicks in and you can get yourself to 3-star and diamond. Now, when I say this, I mean this with love and respect. In this industry, some people can sell their way to diamond. Does not mean they actually stay at diamond. So the duplication process is about keeping people moving. And I'd much rather have 6 legs doing Neumi 123 than having 6 legs that sold their way to a rank, because they will slip down eventually. So there's a balancing act about empowering other people with basic baby duplication steps. And if one thing the industry's taught me from 38 years is, I can tell you that has held true exactly the same for 38 years. So then you want to change gears again, you need to empower other people to teach. So get them to teach. Now, there's plenty of great trainers in the business now, downline of us, and that's when you become a mentor of the mentors, and that's a residual life. And what do? You learn, you do, you teach, repeat. You learn, you do, you teach, repeat. You learn, you do, you teach, repeat, rinse and repeat, and that's how you get to double diamond, triple diamond, and crown, and stay there. Again, people can sell themselves to a rank, but it doesn't mean they're going to stay there. So today, I've got the first question on an Neumi 123 training for you. Isn't sharing the product enough all on its own? Now, do me a favor, type in yes if you've just handed a product to someone and someone's gone, wow, that's amazing, I want to join. Because I have. Does that mean it works? Oh, no, not necessarily. Let me talk about that in a minute. So sharing the products, yeah, I've had people go, wow, what an amazing product. I want to buy that. That's fantastic, right? But next question. Absolutely everybody loves me. This might be your prospects talking to you. I can sell anything. I don't need your process. Isn't that enough? Well, I'm going to say this. Is whatever you're doing so simple you could teach it to a child? If the answer is yes, then you're going to have a huge business. It's interesting. There's a guy in the industry, which I love referring to because we've got 200,000 members now and we've been going for 3.5 years. This guy's been in the industry for 20 years and he says, I have 1 million personal team members. And I was like, wow, how do you get a personal team members 1 million? He said, but hey, here's the key. I didn't do that because I'm a great salesperson. And in fact, he said, I don't recruit salespeople because unfortunately, sometimes they have the curse of just selling and not duplicating. He said, I've achieved 1 million personal team members in the industry because I have a duplicatable system anyone can do. Now, he's got 20 years on us and he's got 1 million members. We got 200,000 in just 3.5 years. Can you imagine in another 3 years, we'll be way past his statistics. That's because we started with a system. So pay attention, get a pen out, and this is really important. Remember the 3 Ps. Let me talk about the 3 Ps before we go on. This is something that was hard to learn for me. Okay. And so 1 finger pointing at you, 3 pointing back at me saying, this is something to pay attention to. So the first P is product. The second P is personality. And the third one is process. So when we say product, isn't the product enough? Yes, the product's amazing. But if you just get the product in people's hands and you don't have a system, you will, and I've spoken to so many people who've edified this, you'll end up with a great customer base. Awesome. But that's product and that's not leverage. That's not an ongoing income. The second part, personality. I came into the industry as a sales coach who said, look, I could sell ice to Eskimos. I teach people how to sell. I don't need this process. And I too went up and then plateaued and wondered why I couldn't get beyond that. And then I realized it was because I had a process that I was using because I had the gift of the gab, if you like, and that was people couldn't do that. And I say this with love and respect. Our founder, Steve Scott, he'll tell you how he sits on a plane and sits next to somebody and next minute they're talking about NutraSwish and boom, they say, give me some information. And that's awesome because he is the personality who has these amazing skills. But now we're talking about pitching this to people who are not that 1 to 3% of the population who have those skills, which is a duplicatable process. So that's the 3 Ps. The final one is process. So product, don't dumb it down. It's amazing, but it won't do it its own. Personality, you got some skills, fantastic. Use those, and don't dumb them down, but can you duplicate? And that's process. So let's get back into it on a process side of things. So you've noticed we've themed this right around children because it needs to be simple enough that anyone could do it. So success is simple in Neumi. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. And we're going to go through the 1, 2, 3's A, B, C's. And at the end, I'm going to share with you actual recordings of what some of our crowns and diamonds say when they approach somebody. So let's talk about the Neumi 1, 2, 3. You probably got started, if you did get started correctly, someone gave you the Neumi Fast Start plan, which talked about the Neumi 1, 2, 3 and got you on the straight and narrow of everything you need to do. Real simple one-pager, simple to follow. But we also have now a 90-day success planner, which the company put together for us, which is awesome. Now, you're probably going, which one do I use? Which one do I use? Great question. If you are a lion or an otter, you're going to gravitate towards this one. If you are a beaver, maybe a golden retriever, you'll probably sit down and read through every single page of the 90-day success planner. I've got something interesting to share with you. Did you know, if you are a beaver and you read all the way through the 90-day success planner and you give it to a lion, they are going to go scan, thanks, and put it away. Just so we're clear. That's why we have a very simple one-pager called the Neumi Fast Start Guide, which is like an excerpt of the basic things you need to know before you get going so that we don't have people run off in the wrong direction, okay? But for those people who do love details and those lions that make some time later, open up the success planner, go through it, read through it, because you can use that as a tool to grow your teams. But like I said, and I'm just telling you the truth, for me, I scanned the 90-day plan, but I just went straight into the Fast Start Guide. So both tools are there to support you in your business. And of course, we have a free app as well. So when I start someone, I can literally open up the app and I can send them the Fast Start Guide from my app, and I know when they open it at their end. So that's all you really need to do when you're getting someone started. So we connect and we direct. Let's talk about that. So when we're onboarding new people, when we're recruiting new people, we connect to tools, we connect to leaders, and we connect to products. That's the Neumi 1, 2, 3 system. Now, is everyone doing Neumi 1, 2, 3 to the best of their ability? No. No one is, and no one does it perfectly every time, not even me. Anyone who says they're perfect, run for the hills, especially if they're a mentor. We're not perfect human beings either. So sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong, sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that, but we need to have a focus and we need to have one way of doing things, which is connect to tools, number 1, connect to leaders, number 2, and connect to products, number 3. Let's drill into that. 1, 2, 3, Neumi. So connect to tools. What does that mean? Well, for most people that are hugely successful in Neumi, they follow this process. And that is the first exposure tool is generally the 3-minute hydrostat video, which is a thermometer just to go, hey, hot or not. And the second video for most people would be the Neumi Live Weekly Opportunity Overview, or the recorded version of that from the app. Okay, we have a live presentation presented by a preferred international presenter every week, but we also have a recording of that that only goes for 20-something minutes sitting in your app. So those first two videos, the 2-minute video, the opportunity overview, they are what most people use. Now, you might also have your own weekly team opportunity overview where they go through all the slides as well. And you might just have started, and we might schedule a launch event if you have someone who has a lot of influence in your team, okay? So this is the first one, connect to tools. Now, we didn't say which tool, but I can tell you, if I, as a crown looking down into hundreds of thousands of people in the team, I can tell you that most successful people are doing it that way. Now, there are other videos that you can use. Generally, we would instruct those videos would be follow-up videos, not first exposure videos, but that's what most people are doing on the screen there. Step 2 is connect to leaders. Now, if you are the Lone Ranger and you go out and you send out videos to people and you follow up on your own, that's awesome and you'll get some results. But I'll come back and caution you again from wisdom of years of experience. Can you duplicate that? No, because the other people don't know the answer to the question. So the most powerful part of a Neumi 123 is connect to leaders. If you were my contact and I recruited you, I will be introducing you to Alex Monterosa on step 2. Why? He's my upline. So I wouldn't do it on my own. And you might say, and some people do join my team and say, couldn't you have done that yourself? And I say, absolutely, I could have done it. But if I did, you'll do that. And I know you'll get really bad results because you don't know the answer to the question. So you need to include me on step 2. That's why I illustrated that by having Alex on step 2. So what is step 2? Well, for me, most often it is a 3-way Zoom. Some people will do a 3-way call. I like a Zoom because I can see the body language. I can look someone in the eye. I can have a bit of fun. I can bond with them. And on a phone, it's a little difficult, less easy because you don't see their face and bond with people as much. You could have a key leader Zoom introduction with corporate. Now, for me, I do a lot more of that because there's only me and Alex, in the business. There's no one above Alex. So my only other option is corporate, but I also introduce people to corporate, and you might too if you have a big key leader. We have an amazing, beautiful team of some unbelievable ladies that have just joined the company right now. And we had them all on corporate calls on purpose. So they get to feel the heart of the company, meet Steve Scott, meet Aaron Rennett, meet the corporate team. And a big leader needs that kind of introduction. So if you've got big leaders way down the bottom of the tree and they have never been introduced to corporate, let's organize one. Maybe it's a coffee introduction to an upline. Maybe you've said, hey, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? And they've watched it. And you say, hey, what are you doing Thursday? Let's catch up for coffee. And maybe you brought your upline along to introduce them. Perfect. That's also connecting to leaders. Some groups are growing so fast, they're saying, Michael, I'd love to do a one-on-one. I don't have time for that. We've got hundreds of people joining. So that's where you would have a group Q&A, right, for super fast growing teams. All right. Now, don't be lazy and do that all the time, because I find even though a group Q&A is good and it's a great solution for fast growing teams, the reason I like to do one-on-one is because I can ask questions of that new member or prospect, tailor my responses to them. And there's some great training in your back office called third-party validation, which is after this. And I'd highly recommend you watch that because you can understand how to handle a call and how the questions should be handled on those sorts of calls as well. Another great way, we have a weekly call now, I'll call a connecting call with Steve Scott. That is a great follow-up tool. Personally, I get Steve on as the second step because I like them then to get to know Steve, but that's because they've already watched the 2-minute video to understand, wow, there's some great science here. And critical, if you write anything down, write this down. Why did I have them watch the opportunity overview before meeting Steve? Because the opportunity overview covers that there is a business as well. When we go straight to Steve, we get the product and we get the culture and we get the heart of the founder, but we haven't had anything about opportunity yet. So that's why most people do it that way. And then another great way for the the sheepish or the quietly spoken or the nervous person is at least add them to the Neumi New You Facebook group, where they can look around at before and after photographs, some of the previous recordings and stuff like that. Or maybe there's a live event happening. Maybe your team's running one. Maybe there's a neutral event that the company's organised that all teams are invited to. And if you do that, you could take them up to the speaker at the front of the room at the end. And the speakers know that no matter what team comes up to them, if they're not in their downline, they never give advice on how to build, but they do answer questions and edify whoever your leader is in your upline, so you know it's a safe space, right? Not to give cross-line coaching advice. That then leaves us to number 3, connect to product. So connect to product can be, there are many different ideas. For example, get them registered as a member. That's the first option. Are you ready to get started? Sure, let's get you registered. Or maybe it is a preferred customer on auto ship, so they can try the product at wholesale price and stay on auto ship to get that. Or maybe at least just registering as a retail customer once off on the website and paying full price. Either of those is fine. In some cases, you might give a product as a sample. Now, this is, from my perspective, just my opinion. So please check with your mentor, your coach, what they do. I have teams across the world in pretty much every country and every language. And I can tell you in some of the poorer countries, and I say that with respect, just, you know, with a lower economic social background, they can't afford to give a sample out. Whereas I know in the Western world, we can. For me, if you want my opinion, do I have product in the cupboard ready to give as a sample? Yes. I have that there to give to someone only, this is just my opinion, only if they have watched the 2-minute video, watched the opportunity overview to the very end, and then they sounded keen and they did get on a call with Alex. And if they still had not decided, I will hedge my bets and throw a $50 bottle at someone and say, just use this, because I know that that last step has the biggest chance of them going, holy moly, this product's amazing, I'm in. And that's what happens. You could throw them over the fence with a feather, like they're gone because the product's so good. But don't play Santa Claus. If you give product samples out to people willy-nilly all over the place at $50 a pop, or even the little ones, without them watching a video first or debriefing, it is like just playing Keno. I don't know if you've got that over there. It's like Tats Lotto. You don't know whether you're going to get anything. It's just throwing mud against the wall and hoping it sticks, and it's an expensive exercise. So check with your coach, check with your mentor. I would give a sample to someone only if they went through the rigorous process and then they're sounding keen. I don't give product samples to customers because customer returns. You know, if I give a sample to someone and then they go out and build a big business, look, Larry from Canada now, half of Neumi's volume worldwide came from Larry. Worthwhile getting a bottle to him, wouldn't it have been? But if I gave one to a customer, probably, you know, $25, is it worth it? It's up to you, personal choice. Perhaps sell them a bottle. Now, be aware, NFR, what it means. If you go to the help.neumi.com and you click on the international markets, you'll see that some markets are NFR, not for retail sale. You cannot sell a bottle to someone in the street. If you do it here in Australia, it's a $780,000 fine from the government. So you're not going to sell a product in an NFR market here. But if you were in Indonesia, absolutely, you can sell one to a retail price to a non-member, and so you should. So just be aware of them. Now, some people use what we call rotation stock. Okay, what does that mean? That means you might give out a sample on the understanding they're going to give you one back once they've registered. That's your choice. I'm just throwing all of that on the table to say, hey, don't scrimp when it comes to product. Ideally, get them registered, but have some backup. I've seen people leave prospects on the table who are so close, and if they just had a product experience, they may have joined. And then, of course, in that process, while they're still making their mind up, because some prospects need between 5 and 7 exposures before they make their decision, send them more product testimonials. Maybe send them some of the Neumi New You interviews, which is in your app, just to keep your finger in the door, if you like, or your foot in the door to say, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. So there is a big secret. And if you've got everything else I just said, but you remember this, you're going to be light years ahead of the average person in the industry. It's called BAM-FAM. Write it down, BAM-FAM. What does it stand for? The key to the Neumi 123 system that not everyone's doing, but the most effective and productive members are doing, is book a meeting from a meeting. All right, so BAM-FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. That means if I rang you and said, hey, told you all about this exciting opportunity and said, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? You said, yes. I don't leave it there. This is really important. Write it down. I would say, hey, perfect. Look, once you watch the video, you will have some questions. When's a good time to debrief? When do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? You watch it tonight? Awesome. So if I rang you tomorrow morning, you would have seen it. Yeah? Yep, great. So let's organize a time now. So I book that meeting. That is the sweet spot. That is the third-party validation. That is what converts more people at that step. Okay. Now, if this feels uncomfortable for you because you're a brand new member, it's normal. Do you know, your parents didn't say, come on, let's walk. And you didn't walk the first time and they've gone, oh, well, my child's, cursed. They're never going to walk. They obviously spent time investing in you and, and going through all of that and helping you to learn and so forth. Now, if you look at other things, think about this. All of you that drive a car, did you drive a car perfectly the first time? No, you didn't, right? So we go through the unconscious incompetence stage with everything in life, including these systems, which is I don't know that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm getting really rubbish results because I've not spent time with a mentor. No one's trained me. So then you suddenly get to the, I realize I don't know what I'm doing. That's conscious incompetence. And maybe you're at that stage now, which is perfect. Because that's when you reach out to a mentor and say, hey, can you help me? Because I don't think I'm doing it right, And the next stage is then conscious competence, where you practice what you're saying, how to approach people. We're going to give you an example of that in a minute. And then once you've got it, competency, that gives you confidence, and then off you go making your calls and you get better results. Then eventually, and I point this out for a reason, you'll get to the unconscious competence stage. What's that? Well, this is why we're running the training right now. I want to point out Michael Firth was not born a network marketer. Neither was Alex Monterosa. Neither was Karen Justice. We all practiced out loud and learnt our approach, the way we were going to do it, how we were going to text it, whatever we were going to do. And we became so ingrained in learning it and making it ours that now we can open our mouths and do an invitation without thinking about it, with nothing written down, because we unconsciously know what we're doing. That's you driving a car right now if you've been driving for 10 years. We all go through this stage of unconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. Conscious competence. I know now what I don't know. Conscious competence. I know that I know. And then finally we get to the stage of, I don't even know that I know, I just do it. And that's how you become a professional in any industry. And this is no different. So I'd encourage you to make sure you invest time in learning. Okay. So let's discuss the ABC. So we said Neumi 1, 2, 3 is recruiting, and Neumi ABC is onboarding. Are you onboarding your members the right way, or would you just tell them, there's the back office, read the 90-day plan, you're on your own? Hopefully not, right? So the ABC is what? We said connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to product. This is direct. So we direct them to the app, we direct them to the bonus, and we direct them to the community, okay? So brand new groups today, I just noticed some of them weren't even aware yet that their upline hadn't even told them about the event schedule. So I made sure I text them out saying, guys, you need to be on this call. So what is the ABC? Direct to the app. Well, first thing we do when we get someone registered is we download the Neumi app on iPhone or Apple or Samsung, whatever it may be, Android. And then we practice the Neumi 1, 2, 3 sequence with those individuals. And we practice sending a video out from the app to you, the upline, to see, they can see what it looks like, what results they get, it shows them when someone's watched the video all the way through. So we practice that with them. And then we work out with that new person what their invitation is. Now, I'm going to cover off invitations from many diamonds and crowns in a minute, just to show you how everyone's different. But we work with that new person. If we truly are mentoring them, the word sponsor, just so you know, the industry term sponsor means responsible for. So that means don't sign someone up and just leave them to the Neumi calls. That's not right. And you're not doing the right thing by your person. Hold their hand, teach them through the baby steps, and teach the right questions to ask to book a meeting from a meeting. So that's the Neumi ABC on A. What about directing to the bonus, number B? Right? We teach the power of 3 simplicity. Now, the power of 3 is the first focus in our compensation plan. Is it the ultimate focus? Not unless you want to keep a very small check of income, but it's the start. So we teach people how to earn an extra $50 by enrolling the first 3 or more, not just 3 or more, 3 to 6, in fact, members. And that's where you'll qualify for an extra $50 in commissions. Then we duplicate that for 250, 3 by 3, and it's 3x3 or more, not just 3x3. And then we eventually go to 1500 when it's 3 levels deep. And of course, there is a rank that associates with that for the new people to know. We then show them that, hey, even if you get to your first 4 people, guess what? Your products are free. The first step you want to get to is so you don't have to pay for your own products. And then we have them all watch the 130-10 philosophy, which is a building strategy. It's in your app. We started a brand new team this week, and I got them all to watch the 130-10 to understand that. Why? Because we wanted to explain to them that if they were going to build 3x3x3 only, that's very poor advice, because you'll have a very small check. But if you build 6 legs, not just 3, 3 is the baby step. But if you build 3 or more, then you have a solid power of 3, because when you go 3x3x3, what if leg 1, 2, and 6 were the ones who had 3x3x3? Guess what? You're still qualified. So the people who only go 3 wide find that they are always stacking and trying to protect the structure of a 3x3. The people who build the 130-10 never have that issue, okay? So then it's as simple as this. All the way to crown, every rank is just about building 1 stars. So the final part of the Neumi ABC is to direct to the community. What do we mean by that? Well, introduce them to the community of support. Maybe you've got a great team weekly call that's happening. So invite them to that weekly call. Maybe you've got an upline mentor supporting you. Get on an introduction call there. Explain the event schedule, all right, which is what I just did with the new team today. And then bam fam them to one. What's that mean? Book them in to the next event, okay? And then add them to the Neumi member group and the Neumi New You group. Did you know there's 2 different groups? I found out the other day some people were in Neumi New You thinking that's the member group. It's not. All the stuff like this will be posted at the end of this event in Neumi members only, because it's only for members. So you need to be in both Facebook groups, and you need your member number in order to access one of those groups. So just when you add yourself to the groups, if you don't answer the questions that are there and click agree to group rules, it'll automatically kick you out 60 minutes later and tell you, hey, please reapply. This time, make sure you answer the questions. So it's an automated process. Submit their testimonial, the first one. If they've got in, they've had a product experience, they're like, wow, you say, great, give me a photo. Let's type out your testimonial. Let's get it in the Neumi New You group right now, the official group for the company. Then determine their level of intensity. Now, I saw the face of Italo before, and I love recognizing wisdom. Italo, we had the 130-10 philosophy from Alex, which is decades of wisdom from Alex being a crown. And Italo said some people get scared off at the idea of 100 names, which is true. He said, so we think we should break it down to cycles as well. So some people are going to join, like this new team with the ladies I'm talking about, where they've gone, I've seen them online going, holy smokes, people clicking their links. I saw one with 350 people that in a few hours that have asked for information about Neumi. That's someone with a lot of influence they could launch. For the person who's not been in the industry before, doesn't have a lot of influence, maybe they just take a baby step, which is a cycle. What's a cycle? Well, the cycle is the base level of activity, which is maybe, could you reckon you can make 10 calls today? Yeah, I could do that. 10 calls tomorrow? Yeah. 10 calls the next day? That's 30 calls. That's a cycle. And so 30 calls on average may result in maybe 3 members, maybe a handful of customers, and that gets the business going, focusing on the power of 3. So cycles with Neumi 123 leads to 3-star, leads to power of 3. Power of 3 leads to 1-star. 1-star leads all the way to crown. So we want to talk to the new people and say, hey, just so you know, you don't have to be a presenter at the start. If you want to be, knock yourself out. But generally, I would encourage people to use the videos at the start till you get some success and traction. And then if you want to start presenting, all the slides are available to you. So just remember, with all of that, have fun. Okay? So success in Neumi is as simple as 1, 2, 3 for recruiting. Teach and learn that culture. It's in every language around the world. And we're going to be revamping these slides again in a few weeks, and we're going to get it all back into the app. And then onboarding is as simple as ABC. So if you can do Neumi 1, 2, 3, Neumi ABC, you can build all the way to crown. So connect to tools, connect to leaders, connect to products is the system, and direct to the app, direct to the bonus, and direct to the community is the onboarding. Now, we're going to finish this off today by talking about contacting versus inviting, because that's one of the things people wanted to ask. And this is taken from one of our 1-star boot camps, so just so you know. So what is contacting really? This is just my opinion, okay? So I say this so everyone doesn't get their nose out of joint. Michael Firth is giving you 38 years of experience the way he sees the world. Is Michael Firth the only wisdom in the industry? No, not at all. There's plenty of other people, and they might be looking at this side and going, well, this is the way I do it. That's why I've included a heap of recordings in a second from different people at different ranks, because I want you to know my way is not the only way. So, but I believe contacting versus inviting, I believe that contacting is being genuinely interested in another human being without pushing a Neumi agenda. People can smell a network marketer coming from a million miles away when they're desperate. So have conversations without pushing a Neumi agenda all the time. Ask good quality questions. Keep an active growing list. We might cover this off next week in more detail, but this is the issues. You know, there's two statistics in the industry, and this is why they're impacted. One stat is that the average person in network marketing, this is a fact, they say introduces 2.8 people only. Another stat, the stat is out of 100 names on a warm list, on average, 30 people show an interest and maybe 20 customers, maybe 10 members will join. You're going 2.8, 130, 10 doesn't add up. That's right, because this person, and it's what we're trying to avoid, this person never got trained on how to approach people. They never got trained on Neumi 1, 2, 3. And as a result, they ring their first 20 best friends or maybe 15 best friends. Maybe one becomes a customer. They don't have any success. They go, this doesn't work for me. And they get to 2.8 and stop. The other person goes out there and duplicates the Neumi 1, 2, 3 and realizes I need to add more people to my list. Out of my Crown business, some of the frontline members that have joined me, I didn't even know them when Neumi began because I keep an active list. So dig the well before you need it. And next week, we'll talk about some of those contacting ways to keep growing an active list, right? Very important. So that's contacting, the difference between contacting and inviting. So dig the well before you need it. Now, let's talking about inviting. Now, what is inviting? In my opinion, some people unfortunately confuse this, but in my opinion, inviting is the core thing you need to learn. So let me just cover again. There are 5 things effectively we do if you wanted to really simplify things in the industry. We contact, meaning we meet new people without an agenda, add to our list. We invite, which means we invite someone to come to a meeting, hop on a presentation, whatever, have a coffee, have a presentation. We present, we follow up, and we coach and mentor. Now, for the brand new people, here's how exciting this is. 5 core things we do. You do not need to coach and mentor because you can't, because you don't have a successful track record in the industry yet. So don't coach what you haven't done. Lots of people like theory, doesn't work, right? Second one, you don't need to follow up on your own because if you're following the Neumi 1, 2, 3 system, your results will be much better if you're the person using an upline for step 2 of the follow-up, and your conversion rate will go through the roof. Not everybody does that, but their conversion is higher than the people who don't, right? Next one, presenting. We don't want you to present at the start. Don't use a tool, don't be a tool. We said that, right? So in the app, there's all the videos and stuff. Now, would I suggest you become a presenter eventually? Absolutely. Because if you don't eventually learn how to present it, who's the real leader that people are looking to? If your upline's presenting and you're not, I'll guarantee you they think your upline's the leader and you're the subordinate. So learn how to present, stay ahead of the game eventually, but don't have to do it straight away. What's that leave? Contacting and inviting. So the trigger here, contacting, this is inviting. So let's take away contacting for a moment and just focus on one thing, inviting. If someone says, I invite people, but I'm not getting anyone to watch the videos, you are overselling. You are zipping. You have verbal diarrhea, okay? Because the key of an invitation is not to explain. It is just to explain enough with some excitement, with a question to say, if I sent you something, would you watch it? Now, I'm going to go back to our slides now and show you what I do. Please understand this is my perspective, and then I'm going to play some audios from different people as well, okay? So you get a well-rounded view. So my understanding or my perception is an invitation is when I'm just straight for the jugular, if you like, I am inviting someone to take a look at a Neumi tool or come to an event. So who would like an objection-free invitation? Type in yes in the chat if you would like an objection-free invitation where you just don't get any pushback and people agree to watch things. Nobody? Just waiting for the chat to come up. Oh, there we go. Yes, 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 yes. Fantastic. Awesome. So this is what I do. If you want to write this down, this is the way I break it down. Small talk, can't talk for long, something exciting, super quick blurb, if I would you, when are you free to, and bam fam. Now that sounded fast, so I'm going to go through it slowly. So you can play this recording back. This is just what I do, okay? So I'd be ring, 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 or text, doesn't matter, or exactly the same. It would be, hey, Alex, how are you, buddy? How's your weekend? What have you been up to? Blah, blah, blah. That's small talk, the first one. So I have a little bit of small talk for maybe 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, but don't do the old 20 minutes of talk and then go. Otherwise, they know the only reason you were calling was to ask them to look at something. So get to the point. So I go a little bit of small talk, a bit of a giggle, bit of a chat, just a genuine communication with someone. And then I say, hey, buddy, just a quick call. Can't talk for long, just got to run out to a meeting. So I'm making sure he knows I don't have a lot of time to talk. And then I say, I've got something really exciting to share with you. And then I will say my invitation. These are my words. You may not use my words. That's why I'm going to play some more in a minute. So I would say something really exciting I want to talk to you about. And this is what I would say. You wouldn't be aware. Liz and I are bringing a brand new nanotechnology product into the world, and it is just phenomenal. Look, I don't know if it's for you, but we're having fantastic results. The results I'm seeing are like nothing I've ever seen in my life before. But there's a little video that explains a bit about what we're doing, buddy. It only goes for a couple of minutes. If I send it to you, would you watch it? You go, yeah, watch it. Well, what's it? You know, you might ask a question. I go, brilliant questions. Look, the video is probably going to answer that. Like I said, if I sent the video, would you watch it? So if I would you, that's the only important question. I don't care what else you say, as long as you book a meeting with that. The next one is, I then say, look, once you've watched it, you will have questions. So before I send you the link, when are you free to debrief? When's a good time? That is the BAM fam. Book our meeting from our meeting. Okay. So here's a question that everyone craps their pants, excuse the French, but what is it? Well, you need a confident answer. And this is why you need to rehearse. Okay. Because if you rehearse your elevator pitch or your way of explaining it, you won't fear this. And people, just like animals smell fear, prospects smell a lack of confidence. So how do you eliminate a lack of confidence? You practice out loud. Angelina Jolie doesn't take the script once and then hop on set. She's doing it with inflection in her voice and practicing and out loud and out loud and out loud. I did exactly that. So what I just said to you, I didn't have anything written down because that's what I say, because it comes from here, because it's part of me. Okay. So I don't care what you say, as long as you practice the questions, which is, if I sent you a video or if I sent you the login details, would you join us, right? Or would you watch it? And as long as you understand that's only half the process. The second half is to book a meeting from a meeting, so you don't get into weirdo world. What's weirdo world? Weirdo world is when you've sent a video to someone and then you ring them up. Hey, Irene, I'm looking at her on the screen. Irene, did you watch the video yet? No, Michael, I haven't had a chance. Oh, okay, no worries. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Hey, Irene, tomorrow. Did you watch the video? Look, Michael, I've just been so busy. Yeah, okay. No worries. Well, I'll let you get back to it. Next day. Hey, Irene, no, Michael, I haven't had time to watch it yet. Oh, okay, cool. I'll come back to you. Then I meet her in a shop and she's like, hi. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, I don't want to bring it up. And she doesn't want to bring it up because we know that she knows that I know that we've sent a video and we haven't followed it up. Now you're in weirdo world. How do you get out of weirdo world? Real simple. Tell them, you know what, Irene, we've got into this weird thing called weirdo world. What do you mean? Well, I know that you've got the video and you know that I'm waiting for you to watch the video and what have you. So you know what, rather than us just chase around like this and be in the weirdo world, when do you think you'll get a chance to watch that video? And I'll ring you back then. When's a good time? I was thinking this or this, which suits you best. That isn't a professional in booking a meeting from a meeting. Like I said, clunky at first, got to learn the right questions. You might, if you're a Labrador, not Labrador, Golden Retriever or a beaver, you might go, I'm going to ask them when. But for the lions and otters, they're like, oh, that's easy. Yeah, when's a good time, right? So just learn to become confident so you don't get into weirdo world. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play some audio messages for you. Let me just get my right screen up. And this is various diamonds and crowns that are sharing their experience. Now, when I press this, I don't know if this is going to work audio-wise, so I'm going to look at your screens and you're going to have to tell me if you can hear this, all right? Okay, so you can see that. I'm going to put the cameras up. Can you who's on the front screen here? Irene and Phoebe. Can you give me a thumbs up if you hear this when it starts? So I'm going to play you through various people's approaches. So this is after the small talk. So the first one's Karen Justice, right? Crown, fastest crown on record, 5 months, 5.5 months. She has rung me. She's done the small talk, and then she's gone, hey, Michael, here we go.
Well, obviously, I've called you because I'm excited about something. I've started taking this product. It's brand new technology. I'm so excited. I'm looking at least 10 years younger. And it's not just that I'm looking younger, I'm just feeling incredible. If I sent you a 2.5-minute video that I watched before I got involved, would you take the time to look at it?
Okay. Was that hard? Type it in the chat. Was that easy? Type in easy or type in hard. It's not rocket science. That is a Crown who said her version. Now, did you notice that Karen didn't say the same words as me? I was chatting to someone in my team who came for a mentoring session at my house the other day, who's from the Sunshine Coast. And that's funny, actually, I'll share this with you. She said, I just wouldn't say I'm bringing a nanotechnology product to the world, because I'm not, you know, I just joined Neumi, whatever. And I'm like, so what would you say? Well, I've got a side gig. I said, so say that. Then I was talking to her sponsor, and I said, she said, I wouldn't say what you say either. I said, I didn't tell you needed to say what I said. I say whatever the heck you like, as long as you finish with, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? Which Karen still did, and book a meeting from a meeting. And I said, what would you say? She goes, well, I've been taking this shit, excuse the French, and it really works. I said, so say that. I don't care what you say, be you. So let's play some more. Okay, you're going to see they're all so different, but there's a common theme in absolutely every one of them. Right, have a listen to this one.
Hey, Michael, I've come across something that I've been thinking about you. How well do you think we would do if we were able to enhance people's quality of life, give them more mental clarity, allow them to sleep better at night, and build up their immune system? If I send you a 2-minute video, would you be able to watch it right now? Let me know.
Boom. That's Alex Monterosa, my sponsor, a Crown, the highest income earner in the entire company. This something similar. What was similar between the two there? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Right, let's play another one.
Hey, Michael, I'm sure you have had a wonderful weekend there. I seen you and Liz were out and about. So I know you've seen that I've been dabbling in a nutraceutical business recently, and I would love it if I could get you on one of the videos. If I send you one, would you be able to watch it right away for me?
So Oot and a Boot, obviously, is Canada, and that's Christy Price, right? And so very different, but what did she say? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Hello, guys, commonality. Maybe you're picking something up out of these. Here's another one.
Hey, Michael, if you had your choice, would you prefer better health, better looks, better finances, or all the above? All you got to do is swish, spray, and speak. If you would direct message me, I'll send you a 2-minute video explaining what we have.
You can tell it's from Georgia. That's my friend James Lewis, fastest diamond ever, because they were diamond in 48 hours after we launched the company. Great example there. Here's another one.
Hi, Michael. It was so good to see you at the gym. You're looking amazing. Listen, I was hoping to chat with you about something I came across that I think would be most beneficial to what you're doing in the gym and your health. That seems like it would be right up your alley. If I sent you a video, would you watch it for me, please?
Okay. That was the beautiful Rhonda Dasher, who I've known now for 17 years, and not even in my team, but we've included people from very many teams to give you feedback. And I love what she said as well, tailoring it because she knows I'm a gym goer. But what was common amongst all of them? I'm just looking at your chats right now. They're genuine, enthusiasm, they're easy, and they booked the video in. But remember this, we only did part of there because I ran out of time to get them to do it. The second part is, if I do send you that video, when will you have a chance to watch it? When's a good time to debrief? Let's book it in now. Book a meeting from a meeting. That's the most important part. One final thing I want to say too was I was coaching a lady downline from others yesterday, and she was picking up mostly customers. And I said, let me just analyze what you're doing. And she said to me, the first video she's been sending out was the breakthrough explanation of the product with Steve. And I said, it's a brilliant video. It's fantastic. But if you're just asking my advice, I think you're putting a cart in front of a horse. The reason you're picking up customers is because you haven't covered opportunity. because the 2-minute video and the opportunity overview lets them decide if it's product or business. It's the opportunity to let them decide. Don't play God. So by giving them a product only one could be done sometimes because someone's nervous about the industry. And this lady said to me, oh, you know, there's a funny vibe about the industry. And I said, well, if you hold that energy, you're going to portray that energy, and energy attracts or repels. So we talked about ways to handle that for her. But the key is, if you want to do what most people are doing, 2-minute video, opportunity overview, upline on a follow-up, and off we go. That is the Neumi 1, 2, 3 system. So guys, I hope today's training has been helpful. And if it has, type it in the chat. I would love to know that. And we're going to make sure that we get an updated version into the app as well. Somebody else has just typed me a question I'm having a read of. No, I can't answer that question. It's about product. So we're here for business today. I can't answer product questions. But the key thing is, if you were texting, if you were Facebook messaging, if you were telephoning, the final thing I'll say to you is, some people in our blitz at the moment, I found, were, nervous about picking up the telephone. And I said, no activity is not going to get you anywhere. So any activity is better than no activity. So if you have to start by sending some texts to get into the rhythm, then do that. But then pull some time aside to practice what you're saying with an upline out loud, and then practice it out loud yourself before you start making some more calls. Because people smell fear just like animals do. They smell fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And we need the most confident, competent version of yourself. And the only way to do that is practice. So for the brand new people, hope this has been helpful. And we look forward to seeing you next week.